Shalom, all praise to Yahweh Bashim Shah, double honor to the apostles of GMS, and shalom to the elect out there. My name is Amnawa Allah, coming at you with another lesson. And this lesson, I'm going to be focusing on Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 1. It says, "A good name is better than precious ointment in the day of death than the day of one's birth." Now, I want to deal with the latter part of this verse, because the main point I want to get to is the beginning of the verse. So let's deal with the latter end first. It says, "In the day of death." I'll read from the top again. "A good name is better than precious ointment in the day of death than the day of one's birth." Why would the day of death be better than the day of one's birth? Because when you're born into this world, you're living in a world full of sorrow, full of despair, pain, tribulation. Those are the things that you go through throughout your life. But when you die, you're now at peace, and you're in the spirit world. You're in heaven, okay, with the Most High, Son, the angels, and you're living at peace. That's why the day of one's death is better than the day of one's birth, because you're exiting the world of sorrow and you're going into bliss, okay? Bliss, B-L-I-S-S, okay? That's the reason why the day of one's death will be better than the day of one's birth. Now, the beginning of the verse, "A good name is better than precious ointment." What does that mean? What is the precious ointment? If you ever wore an oil, or someone may have worn type of cologne, perfume, or particular type of oil, what happens is the smell of that oil or cologne or perfume, whatever fragrance it may be, the smell lingers for a particular period of time, and then eventually it goes away. The smell goes away. You can no longer smell that particular fragrance. But a good name is better than precious ointment. Why is that? Because a good name lasts longer than just a lingering smell. It lasts for a far longer period of time. A good name can last hundreds of years, even thousands. I'll give you a scripture. This is the Apocrypha, the book of Sirach, also known as Ecclesiasticus, chapter 44, verse 1 to 8. "Let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begat us. The Lord hath wrought great glory by them through his great power from the beginning." It's talking about the Most High, Yahweh Bashim Shah. "Such as did bear rule in their kingdoms, men renowned for their power, giving counsel by their understanding, and declaring prophecies." Such as the book of Isaiah, the book of Jeremiah, Yahweh Shah himself. These are famous men. These are men who had great names in the earth. Their names lasted longer than a precious ointment. A precious ointment may last for a few hours, maybe even a few days. But the names of famous men, great men, can last for generations. "Leaders of the people by their counsels and by their knowledge of learning meet for the people," meaning good for the people. "Wise and eloquent are their instructions." For example, Aristotle was looked at as being wise in this world. Plato looked at as being wise in this world. I'm mentioning their names today, and they were over 1,000 years ago. Okay? Alexander was a great military general. He's still remembered today as well. Verse 5. "Such as found out musical tunes and recited verses in writing," like King David. King David was a king, a prophet, as well as a musician. So even great musicians. "Rich men furnished with ability, living peaceably in their habitations," like King Solomon was a rich man. "All these were honored in their generations and were the glory of their time." Right. They were honored in their generations and were the glory of their time. So they were honored in their generations and in their time period. In the world that they were living in, the time period that they were living in, they were honored. They achieved great glory. Verse 8. "There be of them that have left a name behind them, that their praises may be reported. And there be of them that have left a name behind them." So of those men that we mentioned that did bear rule in their kingdoms, that were renowned for their power, that gave counsel, declared prophecies, and so forth. Wise and eloquent are their instructions, and leaders of the people by their counsels. They found out musical tunes. They had left a name behind them. So they died, but they left a name behind them, that their praises may be reported, that the praises that they've garnered in their time period may be reported till this very day. Like the prophet Isaiah, he was a prophet in his time. He's dead, okay? He died, and he may be here now, but guess what? His name is still known because it's written in a book. So he had a great name. Yahweh Shah, he had a great name. He has a great name. He had a great name in the time back then, amongst the as his disciples, who then in turn became apostles, and those that believed on him through their word. And he has a great name till this very day. And the Most High Yahweh has that great name without question. So with that being said, brothers, learn something. A good name is better than a precious ointment, because a precious ointment may linger for a period of time, but a good name lasts for generations. So with that, I'm going to close. I'm going to say, brothers, learn something. Shalom.